video, I'm going to be doing my usual patch note overview for the preliminary patch notes for 7.2. I apologize if this is a little more painful for me to get through. I'm feeling incredibly under the weather. I have a sore throat, which means that I probably shouldn't be reading the patch notes for an hour. And I'm so tired. I slept like over half a day yesterday, and I still feel really tired. But it's a busy day. And I powered through worse. I usually get over being sick pretty quick. So we got a lot to get through. Might as well just skip the formalities and just start scrolling down, because we're always looking for like the random quality of life stuff in here. Because I think for the most part, we know what we're going to get. Like new main scenario. That's a great image. This image is so memeable, right? Oh, it hurts to laugh. That is such a great first image. That could be a Twitter meme all on its own. We have the crown itself, which was, you know, something we talked about back when Dawn Trail's story initially ended. We have the Arcadian. This to me looks like Brute Bomber is actually coming down with his sickness from competing, which might support the theory that he is one of the bosses again, but he's like the super transformed version. We've got some of our other competitors. We got Black Cat. We got the announcer. You know, it's all just like tiny previews. Here's the quest. Here's a picture. Like, there really isn't much to say. Now it'll be possible to perform repairs and access weather forecasts while doing New Game Plus. Yeah, New Game Plus is this weird restriction on a lot of stuff. So I'm not too surprised to see they finally doing away with some of them. I didn't realize you couldn't perform repairs. Not something I usually do in New Game Plus, but or especially accessing weather forecasts. But it is what it is. They're updating the rewards for maps. They do this every patch. Same with the actual treasure inside of the treasure dungeon. No surprises there. Subaquatic voyages get new areas. Max rank goes up. That's all normal. SSAO can now be disabled for indoor furnishings. The setting applies to all who... Yeah, you can see the shadows. Wow. Big difference in shadow quality. Adjust this setting via the interiors. Oh, so it's like a specific thing. So if you just want a different type of lighting for housing, that's kind of cool. However, the one housing update we haven't heard about, I'm wondering if it'll be here, is the ability to change the size of the indoor. We were told that we were aiming for 7.2, but it wasn't mentioned during the live letter. So wonder if they just had to push that back to something. They said they were aiming for 7.2. Not that it was in 7.2, but still. Warning message will not display on screen when entering a garden of an estate scheduled for... Oh, okay. That's nice, but still realistically... should just, if they're that close to the house, they might as well just, like, if the person is outside their house, they should be, the auto demolition should not occur, because that at least tells you that they're going to their house and using it. So if they're going to do this as the warning for auto demolition, they should just make it so if you're outside your house, you just take one step outside, just in the lawn, that the auto demolition gets turned off. They should just make that change altogether. New furnishings, you know, the job stones, cabinet, like the little chocobo trophy up there. Speaking of chocobos, chocobo fountains, some other stuff. New furnishings. I'm not much of a housing guy, so, you know, I can't really say a whole lot about this. Some cool looking stuff, you know. Always more options is always better. New orchestrions, new aquarium fish, new flower pot seeds. The feature I literally forget about every time between patch notes. Gold saucer, new prizes. Interesting. I wonder what that is. Following additions have been made to Triple Triad. New cards, new NPCs. Yeah, this is all standard stuff. Field operations. Ooh. I guess that includes, yeah, Eureka and everything. Yeah, Eureka is just no longer part of its own. It's just part of the field operations. That makes sense. Nothing else really changing there, though. Probably going to have challenge logs for the new one, too, for Occult Crescent. Because it has such a similar system to Eureka, I assume that it'll also have very similar challenge logs as well. Following additions made to duty support, Underkeep, and Sunken Temple of Karn, of course. Wondrous Tales, they update the rewards, they add in some objectives, Underkeep and First Walk. Following duty roulette names have been adjusted. What in the... Like, I get it, because 60 and 70 aren't on the list, but what in the hell? What? Alright, sure. I thought they were trying to make the names shorter, not longer, but I guess I was wrong. I guess they really, really wanted the clarity for it. Okay. Primer for high-level duties to display has been adjusted. Players must reach the current level cap with at least one Disciple Board. Magic players must complete all the main scenario quests for the latest expansion. Okay. That makes sense, since they could be level 100 but not have the MSQ done, which means they can't do it. For 7.x, players must complete 7.0. Good thing they added that, because people were going to be like, does that mean I have to do 7.2 Following adjustments have been made to Fox Hollows. We have Hell's Kier Unreal. So we have Suzaku now, which is going to be a disaster, mind you. They even clarify how it actually works here. And a new mount. Good thing I have just barely over 600. I really like that mount. That is a sick mount from Fox Hollows. That's probably one of the best mounts that Fox Hollows has ever added. If I had to, like, rate them, because, like, some of them are reskins of, like, EX trial mounts, and, like, I'd say before this, the mining node was, like, a really big one for me. But that's one of the, that's a great mount. I love that. I might actually just keep that for myself. That thing's cool as hell. Nah, I'll probably sell one day one. Anyway. Oh, duty recorder, great. Anyway, new emotes, the Days emote, I guess that's what that is. Tome Scroll and Study have been added to the special tab of the emote window. Tome Scroll and Study are looping versions of the emote Tomestone and Read. Oh, nice. They're just adding looping versions. That's really cool. I like that. Following actions can now be queued for execution. People who do not do endgame content do not understand this at all. So when you queue when you press an ability in game, most abilities, you can press them before your cooldowns or your global cooldowns become available. And it will queue the action for a brief period of time. So that way, you're basically telling the server in advance, hey, I'm going to be using this action next. So it tries to basically make the MS latency between you executing, but between the global cooldown becoming available and the skill being registered is 0. It's trying to get it as close to 0 as possible, so it works exactly as you intend. However, sprint, food, and pots cannot be queued. So it means you have to wait till the previous action's cooldown window is done, which is where, like, if you have, like, 150 to 200 MS, when it, like, really delays you, end up clipping your GCD. That's similar in effect, because it's like waiting until that time is available and then taking the queued up action and then the follow-up period. It's a whole lot of interacting systems, but this just means that very rarely now will you press your pot or your sprint and it won't go off. You may have heard people using something like a sprint macro to try to limit how unresponsive it can be. Won't need that anymore. So yeah, that's, thank God, dude. It's been so many years. Even the OCP was like, we have the technology. Underkeep, just the new dungeon for the MSQ. Item level sync has been added to the following duties: Tender Valley, Strayborough, and Yawada is at 7:30. If you're beginning a boss encounter in any dungeon prior to 7.0, a shortcut warp will take the player to the boss area's entrance. Oh, that's nice. That's something that they could have done ages ago. Glad they're doing it now. There's our girl Beatrix in the Recollection trial. There's normal. There's extreme. Expecting some, well, we already heard the song from the mount, so the Roses of May version that we're getting sounds really, really good. Suzaku, again, Suzaku Unreal is going to be a disaster. The pull in and push out is going to be the big thing, but that's not the only thing. Trust me. Just doing the average requirement for Fox Hollows. Wings of Ruin and Wings of Resolve, that is from Zoral Jaw and Valgarmanda. You can now exchange those for totems, and the drop rate is at its maximum value. We have the Cruiserweight tier for the Arcadian. Not much to say here. This is all the explanation of how the loot works, the different, the hollow gauntlets, how the exchange works, where the exchange... We don't need to read all that. If you've ever done a normal or savage raid, this is all the exact same information. The only thing that's worth remembering is that the Cruiserweight Savage will be available on April 1st and not on March 25th. They're doing a 1-week delay. This is something they did in 6.2 and 6.4, and something they will be doing in 0.2 and 0.4 patches going forward. The expansion release will still probably be the 2-week delay followed by the 2-week delay. I don't see them changing that anytime soon. God, these bosses are going to be something else, man. Very interesting. Yeah, she's a flan. I don't know. I didn't figure that out. Like, it just didn't register to me that she was a flan. Or that was her monster, as we saw on the thing. Yep, and then this is all the usual. Babyface, Swempet, Coffer. Yep, this is just all the rules. We don't need to read this. If you've ever done normal or savage, it's all the same thing. Raid Finder is all the most recent Extreme Unreals and Savages. The old ones were moved to the Duty Finder. Echo is now available in Fiend's Burden, up to 25%. Juno, the First Walk, is having all its weekly restrictions removed. This is all, again, very standard stuff. Bonus EXP... The bonus EXP received upon completing the following duties and Alliance Raid has been increased. Oh my God, they're boosting. Oh, it's specifically with the Alliance Raid Roulette. So they just buffed the Alliance Raid Roulette. Okay, cool. Yeah, because Aglaya is still, like, disgusting for leveling 90 to 100. I don't know why it works as well as it does or how they got the scaling on that to the point where they did. But This is specifically with the roulette. So the roulette's just really good. Oh, man. I had to open my stupid mouth. Well, not anymore. Aglaya is not going to be a leveling method. I disagree with this, with doing this as a whole, because Deep Dungeon is going to be the chief other leveling method that we have for 90 to 100, 91 to 100 in this expansion. And I would say Stormblood's leveling range is probably the worst one. And it has that same problem where its only alternative leveling method is Heaven on High. It's one of those problems that rears its head later for people who are just, you know, leveling secondary jobs in those later points. Maybe it's not as bad now because we have so much bonus EXP. The amount that things like your daily, all the daily activities you can do have gotten a lot better. And there's a lot more daily activities you can do nowadays to level that maybe it won't be the same problem. But I think they should have just left it. Like, I get that it was as good as it was, and it was maybe a little too good, but it's one of those things I think you should just leave alone. The position of Cloud Dark Demi Materia 2 in the list of items sold under Sublime Curiosities has been changed. Okay. Following adjustments have been made to Futures Rewritten Ultimate. Oh, yeah, it's got its item level cap now, and the weekly restriction is gone. That's normal. Our new capped tome is Mathematics. Same deal as our other capped tomes. This one's 450. The old heliometry is no longer capped and stores up to 2,000. Aesthetics are gone. Causality are entirely removed. So if you didn't exchange them up to aesthetics, then, you know, that's gone. Comedy to be removed with patch 7.2 can be exchanged for Tomestones of Poetics until the start of maintenance. That's the same for both. And these can be exchanged after. So you probably want capped aesthetics, capped heliometry, if you plan on buying a bunch of crafting materials specifically. Let's see. And then this is just explaining it in words, so I'm not going to read it because I just explained all that. Oh, yeah. So the 0.2 patch is always where the expert roulette becomes the 2 dungeon expert roulette. Never been a fan of this. I think 3 dungeons should be the minimum for a roulette. Otherwise, call it duty coin flip expert. Because, yeah, I haven't agreed with this since it became a thing. Still don't. And I wasn't really thinking about it. I don't really do roulettes, but that's part of the reason why I stopped doing roulettes. Because there was only 2 dungeons and expert, and that was the one I was doing every day, and I just didn't care. Not to mention, it's so easy to get tomes anyway. Level cap dungeon category has been added, and that's going to have Alexandria, Tender Valley, and Strayborough. And that makes sense. Yeah, so that's just... We do get an extra roulette this patch as well with this, but, you know, it's still... I would rather have more dungeons in our expert roulette. Recollection has been added to the roulette trials. Juno has been added to the alliance raids. Cruiserweight raids have been added to the normal raids. Mentor roulette's gotten, you know, recollection, underkeep, and all the cruiserweight normals. This is just explaining all the tomestone differences. Honestly, all it is a change in tomestones, not really in a value. So again, as long as you know how they worked before, you know how they work now. This is just, you know, any names that need to be updated and changed have been updated and changed. Same with PvP duties. Same deal. There's not really much to say here. Number of Valiant tomestones for defeating elite marks. Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah, it's all fluff. All fluff. Stone Sky Sea has the, you know, new normal mode, savage, and extreme. Following adjustments have been made to the Sunken Temple of Karn. Yeah, I figured all 3 of the bosses were probably adjusted given the trusts. What in the hell? Okay, never mind. I thought he was like in the machine. No, he's sitting on its back. This is the Series 8 PvP mount. Pretty cool. I might actually try to get that one. I like it. Crystalline Conflict Season 13 will end and Season 14 will begin. These are the new data centers for PvP. Crystal, Meteor, Chaos, and Materia. That's where you need to go if you want to do ranked queue. Tactical Crystal's movement speed is no longer increased if it is within a distance from the center point that is less than the opposing team's progress record. Okay. Losing teams clear. Progress speed is no longer increased at checkpoints. Following key bindings have been added, allowing for direct targeting of opposing players. That's nice. I really like that. Probably won't use it too much, but I do like that they're actually just straight up adding target enemy member number. Just if you can get used to it, you're gonna be way better off. Following adjustment made to battle high rating upon KOing. KO reduced from 10 to 8, and assist increased from 2 to 4. Ooh, nice. Secure is back, and then it has a full play guide explanation of Secure. Terrain has been adjusted. Key locations have been adjusted. Personnel, displacement panels, the teleporters have been added when the Allegan stuff is in the center of the map. Amount of technical points awarded has been adjusted in accordance to the number of key locations. Players standing near the flag of key locations will be buffed the status Sheer Will. Yeah, that's when you're actually in the points to increase your damage dealt. Interceptor commander systems will now be deployed. This new enemy will use perimeter cannon, and by absorbing this attack, players may increase their rating and gain tactical points for the team. So you want to eat the AoE specifically to increase your... That's a very interesting way of doing... Yeah, so you want to take these to raise your tactical rating, which means you want to push other players out of them and keep them out of them. That's an interesting way of doing it. Pattern of enemy appearances has been adjusted. Actions executed by interceptor drones and nodes has been adjusted. After defeating drones, the party that contributed the most damage will gain battle high rating for all its members. Holy moly, that's actually dope. When interceptor drones are deployed, an interceptor drone alpha may appear. Defeating these rare enemies will reward players more tactical points than regular interceptor drones. When the interceptor node's HP is reduced to 0, it will regain all of its HP up to 5 times. Wow. Each time its HP is reduced to 0, teams will be awarded tactical points according to their contribution. Visual and or audio effects have been added to the moments when tactical points are awarded for defeating monsters or successful navigating their attacks. That's really cool. They did a lot of work with Secure here. Frontline campaign window info has been added. Yeah, to let you know when things are actually deploying. Let me take a sip of this coffee. My sore throat is actually kicking up right now. New items. We've seen these already. These are the Final Fantasy 9 looking sets. You've got Wish.com Zidane, Freya, which I'm glad is a Fizz range. You know, the usual. We've been over these in a few other videos. The new recipes, which I think might actually be the most interesting new set of the things that we saw. These are the this is the crafted gear. I think the crafted gear was, for me, the best of the 3 sets that we've seen. So that still remains to be the point after seeing it again here. Dying interface has been adjusted. Following items now have 2 die channels. Honor Bound, Tenacity, Skull Render. Wow, okay. Quite a few items. Yeah, they're getting to more and more of them. Look at this. Look at all these new dual... Oh, look, the blade stuff. Yeah, the relics. The replicas. Laws. Or, yeah, look at all that. The double die channels on relics is going to make going back. Even the matte ones. Appreciate that. Yeah, this is something we have to look forward to for a little while with the dual channels. Is anytime that there's this. I mean, especially getting the relics is really cool. So, yeah, good. I honestly, I didn't even think to look for this in the patch notes. I wouldn't have even thought it was going to be a thing. But that's maybe just because I just never expect things to get updated. And then they do, and it's like I've completely forgotten about them. And I'm colorblind, so what do I know? Black feathered flat hat and red feathered flat hat now equipped regardless of gender. Following additions have been made to the dresser. Interesting. Creating an outfit glamour, the location in which each item gear piece was previously stored is now displayed in the log window. That's very useful. Following marks can now be displayed on the stored item icon. Outfit glamour, a mark indicating an item as part of an outfit glamour and has been saved as an outfit. Outfit glamour category has been added to the filter settings. Okay. Neo Kingdom gear can now be purchased in exchange for sacks of nuts. No surprise there. That's very normal. Certain items can now be sold desynthesized submitted. That's normal. Secondary attributes have been adjusted. My exquisite Zwill crossblades. Why would you bother changing? I guess because it was different from the original. The exquisite... so these are the Criterion Savage weapons. And it's specifically the Viper and Picto ones. I don't know why they felt like they needed to do this, but okay. Description of... Certain pugilist arms have been updated to indicate that weapon appearance may take precedence over the hand gear. Oh, that's actually good. Yeah, because some monk weapons just completely overwrite whatever you have on your hands, which to be expected because they are fist weapons. New miner and botanist points. New items have been added to gathering points. Locations have been adjusted in the Octel for certain gathering points. An effect now displays when the collector's standard and collector's high standard statuses are activated. New fishing holes. Following fish can be caught using the golden stonefly nymph bait. Okay. A feature to batch select required materials by quality has been added to the quality log. Oh, that's pretty cool. If you lack sufficient quantity of the required material, only the amount in your possession will be selected. That's cool. I like that. Level requirements for master crafting recipes have been removed for all the old level ones. That's interesting. Level cap for desynthesis has been increased by 20. New mounts have been added. That's the Beatrix mount. We saw that one during the live letter. Mounts can now be summoned while moving. That was a really nice one. We saw that during the live letter as well. New Chocobo barding. That is almost certainly the EX trial barding. New minions have been added. We have the Beagle, new face wear. We have an eye patch and some goggles. And then we get into the system updates. Graphical adjustments have been made to player character models based on... I know what's going to follow this up then because every time they... Yep. In conjunction with these adjustments, players can obtain a free file of Fantasia. Yeah, they're just giving away Fantasias every patch now while they make these adjustments. Yeah, so if you're watching this, remember that up until Tuesday, up until maintenance on Monday, technically, you can actually get a free Fantasia from that same Wandering Moogle in Old Gridania if you haven't done it yet. Only one. However, after patch, you'll be able to get another one. So be sure to go do that. Shadow quality has been adjusted. Following adjustments have been made to certain NPCs, model, texture resolution. Yeah, they told us they would gradually do this. Graphical details for the following gear have been improved. Oh, interesting. The Realm Reborn relics got a facelift. I'm very curious to see what those all look like. And here's all the artifact gear as well. Yeah, all the Realm Reborn stuff got some updates here. Interesting. And some other stuff as well. Lisa's leader, ship lord, commander, etc., etc. Vegetation of the following areas will now be rendered in high resolution. Oh, before, after. Okay. 3.x to 6.x areas, public areas, and duties. Okay. Yeah, more. They said they would be doing this. I just hadn't really thought of it. Following adjustments have been made to objects and fields and cities. More and after. Yeah, they're way busier in the after. Same here. Way more. Oh, my God. So many more. Number of objects has been increased. Polygon count increased. Texture resolution increased in 3.x to 6.x public areas, cities, and fields. No changes have been made to Western Highlands, Raktica, Greatwood, Tempest, or Ultima Thule. Those will probably be coming later. The number of shadows cast in rooms in the following areas have been increased. Yep, in the barracks, the battle hall, Yulmore, and certain instanced events. General action sprint now grants the jog effect. Once it expires, a more modest increase. This effect can be manually deactivated and expires when enmity is generated. Yeah, so it's not just in sanctuaries. It's just out of combat, which is what we weren't really clear about in the letter from the producer live. But now we know. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the actions and traits window. Display option to list actions by function. Oh, that's really good. By function. Yeah, that's good to just put them together based on if they do the same, like at least have somewhat of a similar, like increases quality or increases progress or something in that vein. Okay, I like that. Because I always just have to scroll through them all. I'm like, what the hell are these abilities called? Not that I do a lot of crafting, but still. New actions corresponding to targets marked with different signs have been added to the general tab. Oh, when multiple targets are marked using relevant actions, will cycle through targets numbered from lowest to highest. Oh, so you can like set a target as attack and then just press the attack target button. And then it'll, please continue to use macros for targeting specific numbered signs. Interesting. Yeah, but if you only have one, so if you mark them 1 to 5, it makes sense. Like thinking like the Mandragoras from treasure maps, for example. You click this and go to the first one, and then you click it and go to the second one, and click it and go to the third one. Yeah, that's interesting. This is definitely going to see some use, especially like even just for like marking something really basic, like, oh, just mark it as square or something. And then everyone knows to like bind square target and just like be able to quickly grab it instead of tab. Because sometimes tab targeting, especially on bigger enemies, it just doesn't work well. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Duties category has been added. Duty action 1, duty action 2. Okay. In order to prevent server congestion, we'll be implementing multiple field areas in Solution 9, Heritage Found, and areas newly added in 7.2. Interesting. There are specifics for that. I assume it's just like some little interim area, or they're referring to the moon in some capacity for when we get to Cosmic Explo. Following additions and adjustments have been made to achievements. New achievement titles, achievements end titles have been added. And then, of course, the adding a whole bunch of stuff to like the tank achievements and stuff that happens every patch. Following additions and adjustments have been made to retainers. New items can now be obtained from quick exploration ventures. The Gil currency symbol now appears next to the Gil amount entrusted. All right, I didn't really think that was that important, but if you want it, sure. With the exception of gear, trade items are now displayed in the log window. Following online statuses will now also be displayed when display class or job icons with nameplate is selected. Hello, Ivy. Following additions and adjustments have been made to portraits. New accents have been added. Yeah, we get the, yep, there's the Froux one. There it is. Like they knew what to show us, the new portrait accents for adventure plates. Jesus Christ, that is a fancy adventure plate for Froux. Goodness gracious. I'm not complaining, but God, that's very colorful. Holy Jesus. Not that I know what colors they are, but still. Well, I have that now. That's good. I'll take it. It's very pretty. Following additions and adjustments have been made to group pose. The depth of field effects has been adjusted. Will apply to, oh yeah, so you can like actually get a more candid shot. That's a really good looking G-pose picture right there. Values of all these numbers have been added to the depth of field slider. Default value has been changed from 5.6 to 2.5. The range of focal length parameters. Dude, this is all gone so far over my head, bro. I just go to group pose and just like try to get a decent angle, and then I leave it all alone. I'm not a very group posy person. Patch logo frame has been updated with 7.2. Following adjustments have been made to the Blacklist, so we knew they were going to be making some sort of adjustment due to the, I guess I call it a security breach, to the way the system handled the information. In accordance with measures introduced in 7.2 to help prevent the identification of account IDs that are not displayed in-game, relevant saved client data has been reset. That's a good thing. Just resetting every data that was already out there. I didn't think they were going to do that. That's a very good thing to have done, to just have straight up reset all of those IDs so that anything that was already pulled is effectively. So for those who missed it, there was a third party tool that was basically able to scan player IDs in the game, unrelated to your actual account information and your personal information, but it could find the identifying factor for your character, and then you could, use it to basically track people, what they were doing, where they're doing, even if you were blacklisted. In fact, the blacklist is what enabled it in the first place. So there's a whole compiled list of character IDs that was out there. And technically, even though the app, I think it was taken down, it was forked a bunch of times. So technically it was always out there. This is basically undone all of that. So anything that was done in that regard, if that's ever been a concern for you, at the very least, we've evened the playing field. Apologize for any inconvenience caused and ask for your understanding as we introduce these measures. Although information registered on the blacklist has been preserved, character blacklisted prior to 7.2 will now be displayed as character name could not be retrieved, and any saved comments will be deleted. As a result, players will no longer be able to distinguish between characters blacklisted prior. Yeah, that makes sense. If they're going to wipe the data, how would it know who it is? To have blacklisted character names displayed once more, please consider removing relevant characters and registering them again. I mean, as long as you know that the blacklist is still functioning, I guess it really just depends. Like, it only matters if you really want to unblacklist someone. And, yeah, I mean, that's a big question mark. All information registered on the mute list has been deleted. 1 second, I need to check something real quick. Let's see. I just need to do something. Sorry, I know it's mid-recording, but my mornings have been, let's just say they've been eventful and not in the most fun of ways. So I do need to take care of something real quick before I keep reading, which my voice does not appreciate. Well, I can do it simultaneously. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but honestly, as long as the people you want to be blacklisted are still blacklisted, I guess that's all that really matters. But, it's still a little annoying. All information registered on the mute list has been deleted. Players will be unable to blacklist characters that were registered as contacts prior to 7.2. So, this lets you know that the data was reset. And it doesn't mention, like, here's the thing. It was never going to mention the measures themselves, but it doesn't say that measures were added other than that first sentence. So I guess they're just trying to keep the fact that they did something like as not upfront as possible, which given how much people like challenging updates to technology, probably a good idea. All right, all taken care of. Following text commands have been added. That's tome, scroll, and study. We were told about that. Dazed, I guess the name earlier. Cool. Following adjustments have been made to the data center travel system. Destination worlds are now listed in a random order. Okay, I guess alleviate system stress caused by players tending to select destination worlds from the top of the list. Okay. On the data center travel confirmation screen, the cursor is now positioned above the proceed button by default. Thank God. Additions have been made to the auto translation dictionary. Auto complete new trophies have been added to PS5. Achievements added to Xbox. Music, sound effects, and voices. Now loading text displayed when logging has been removed. Following additions and adjustments have been made to the launcher. Portion of the design has been altered. The name of the Lodestone tab at the menu at the top of the launcher has been changed to community. New backgrounds have been added. I don't know how to say this. All right, and that is the end of the patch notes. Now, I need to check one thing because I thought for certain that I saw something on socials that I think I missed while I was reading through. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but no? Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought I saw something on socials that said something about Wondrous Tales that I don't see here. Following duty roulette names have been adjusted. Yeah. Okay. Either way, I guess maybe I misunderstood and saw, because that was the only thing I had like spoiled beforehand. I scrolled through Twitter and I saw like one post that said something about Wondrous Tales. But yeah, that's it for the preliminary patch notes. As a reminder, we do not get job updates or any sort of buffs or nerfs listed in the preliminary patch notes because waiting 3 more days is apparently sufficient enough so people don't start losing their minds. I know black mages out there are, well, let's just say it's not. They're on edge. I had a dark joke lined up, but I decided not to tell it. And that's not because they're black mage. Anyway, yeah, I know that they're a little bit antsy to find out exactly what's happening to make sure they have the exact information that they want. But you'll have to wait till Monday to see it because it's never in the preliminary patch notes. There's usually a few other things in the full patch notes as well, so I'll be going over those on Monday while the servers are down, and I'll have a video on that as well. But that is going to be a wrap for my overview on the patch 7.2 preliminary patch notes. I'm now going to, well, not rest my voice because I'm still streaming, but maybe not use it as much for the next little bit of time. So thanks for watching. I'll see all of you in the next one. And until then, take care.